We are here today with Mr. Doug Struyk, episode 44 of Homage. It's Friday. It's fall. We got football coming and we're getting ready. Mr. Doug, thank you for being here today. It's great to see you. I know we haven't gotten together in a little bit. We got to get lunch or something together, but this is going to be a fun one because I have known Doug, or let's put it this way. Doug has known me since probably almost the inception of DSM, and he's seen the journey. But this guy's story and what he's done. So I'm going to let you tell everybody how long you've been at the helm of Christian Health, because I don't want to be the one to date you in terms of age or anything like that. So Doug, welcome to Homage, episode 44. Give everybody a little background about who you are and kind of, I'll get into a little bit about what you've done, because the career, you've done a lot over your over your career, but give everybody a little bit intro about Doug Struyk. Who's the legend?
Thank you, Darren. I'm very humbled. I will do that. But first, let me just thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I've enjoyed many of your prior episodes, and you've had some real rock stars on here. So I'm very humbled to be not a rock star among them. So thank you very much. Yeah, this has been an amazing journey here at Christian Health. 34 years I'm coming up on, and I'll be 65 next year. So hitting another milestone is coming as well. But it's been amazing. When I began my career out of college as intending to be a CPA, I would have never dreamed that I'd have this kind of an opportunity. But really very thankful that some doors opened up, and just God provided some opportunities, and it's just been a really amazing time. And as I look back, the most valuable and impactful part of it has just been all the people that I've had the opportunity to meet along the way, and the way in which, just like as you kind of shared in Homage, the way that people have shaped your life and the relationship you've had, I've had very much that same opportunity and experience. And I'm so thankful for all of them, and look forward to more of them yet to come.
Well, and for anybody who doesn't know Doug personally, I'm not sure the humble comes through, and like, this guy has literally transformed an organization over the last 34 years into what it is today. And it honestly, it still feels, I mean, we get the pleasure and honor to work with you guys on a daily basis. Every day, it's like something new's happening. So to be doing what you're doing and how you're doing it, one of the questions I have, and I get a lot of young people who have started following this. And for those who are, when you talk about having the opportunities and the relationships, and that's like the biggest part, it's something for me, obviously. I'm almost 18 years into DSM, and Zinka and Charlene very well. I have two very awesome ladies on my right and left hand at DSM, and they're kind of like, just do your thing, man. Stay out of the details. We got the details. You go and talk and do your thing and build the relationships. But what was at the beginning of the journey here? What has been the biggest change in regards to how the organization has evolved? Like, what's the biggest change for you that wasn't there other than the size and scope of everything you guys are doing? But what's been the biggest change for you, and how has that like impacted you professionally and personally?
Wow. Yeah, I guess, certainly size and scope has been a part of it, but I think maybe what's been the biggest change has just been the increased challenge about what's involved in keeping the brand and what it represents solid and safe and secure.
Mm-hmm.
That back in 1990, when I came, because it was a little bit smaller organization, but yet still doing a lot of great work, it had a tremendous reputation for quality and safety and security. And as we have grown, the challenges that come, the forces that are outside, from many different ways, just make it, you've just got to be really that much more on your game, so that that thing that's most important, that what's central to that brand just stays really true, and you don't let size, and growth in and of itself be something that drives you, without kind of keeping an eye on, it's not a matter of being the biggest, it's a matter of remaining the best. And the change has been, it's just harder and harder, but maybe even also more and more important to stay really true to that what that the essence of what that brand is and what it represents. And thankful that we've got friends like DSM who've been helping us to expand and tell the story, and protect that brand, and what's the strategy, and how we can explain to the community who we are, how we might be of help to them, and how also we can understand from them what their needs are and how we can respond. How to build a team. The team here is become much larger and much diverse. And so as that change has occurred, maintaining our saltiness, we've actually seen over the last several years that we have brought on a number of new team members. Sure, I mean, COVID, like for many organizations, it caused many people maybe to retire a little bit earlier or move on to do something different. And like many organizations, we've had to bring on new staff. Thankfully, we've been very successful in doing that. But in so doing, we've got to be sure that this new team that's now new team members that are a part of us, that they understand that culture and values, that are embedded and that are bedrock and kind of foundational to us, that they understand them, and then they can help us to build upon that, and to have best in class programs, and to look for growth opportunities that come upon that. But at the same time, bringing on those new team members, just to find people who, when they get connected to the mission, get excited about it, and find their own personal connection and start to make their own stories. That keeps it fundamental and foundational for me. That just to see how that connection is really occurring. But it's something we have to work at every single day, to make sure that we're true to who we want to be and who we present ourselves to be, in every single program. And now that it's not just here in Wyckoff and Hawthorne, but it's in North Haledon, and it's in Wayne, and it's now out in Morris County and Hudson County and Essex County with Newbridge Services. So there's a lot more locations, and so keeping that brand identity and picking up from other sources it's a change, and it's a challenge, and fun at the same time.
Well, one of the words, in my opinion, that kind of like distinguishes Christian Health over the years has been the vigilance, of making sure that, it's funny growing up here, like my parents moved here in 1980, and there's death and taxes are kind of like, everybody's common denominator, but it's like the market basket, Christian Health, like at the time, Christian Health, like there are things foundationally that have been a part of the community for as long as I can remember. And, you said 1990, like when my parents moved here and I went to Coolidge School in Wyckoff, like I always remember going to the market basket with my mom over in Wyckoff, and like there was this big campus right across the street. And that was one of those things that always kind of like stuck out in my mind as a constant in the community. And to your point about, and we've gotten to see it firsthand, but like, as you guys have grown, the brand itself, it means a lot of things to a lot of generations of people that live in the area. Some of the folks who are like a bit older, it means one thing, trying to balance the core values of what the Christian Health Center was at the time back in the 80s and 90s, and now Christian Health and all the other brands that are coming on with it, the core values. So that balance, it doesn't matter if you're managing 500 people or if you're managing 16 like I am. one of the most fun things that I get to do, and I think you said it really well, was to be able to impart what's important and what's been the foundational pieces, but also take like every new person that comes into DSM. I'm like, you are the newest set of eyes. Like, we've been doing things a certain way, but if there's something that you see that could be better, like, I need you to tell me. I need you to tell me. I might not agree with it, or we might not be able to do it, you know, like going to Las Vegas on a retreat every year. Probably not going to be able to do it, you know, but maybe we can figure something out where we change what we've been doing on something small like that to make it better for the people that have been here for the last 8 years. Like, that's so important. One of the things I really want to touch on is, and you'll never talk about this in the way that the Vista. It was a, what was it, a 20-year journey?
Yeah, actually, my story with the Vista is that when we began planning it, our older daughter Carly was leaving kindergarten, and the year that we opened it was the year that she and Jacob got married. So it was kind of her lifespan, you know, and our daughter Juliana was there along the way. So it's almost as if the Vista was kind of a third child. But yeah, I mean, that certainly has been an incredibly rewarding experience. And why did it take that length of time? Because we had to make sure that we were defining in a way that would really meet community need. It was something new, and we needed to educate the market and our board and ourselves about what this is going to represent. There were some improvements we wanted to make in the area, and we had to work through that to make sure that was going to serve Hawthorne and Wyckoff really well. And in the end, all of that produced something that has just been incredibly well received. We're actually 100% full now at the Vista, ahead of schedule. You know, we opened up the Vista during COVID, and had to certainly respond to that along the way. But now it's entirely filled, and we have a waiting list. But what's probably been most rewarding about that is, though we spent many years planning buildings and design and features, it's now seeing the residents who are living there, who are making it, you know, part of their life plan, and the way in which they've connected, and what an incredibly diverse and friendly and compassionate group that's living there, and the way they look out for each other, the way they are looking to be supportive of this organization and the community, the way they're bringing their life's experience. And even for an example, in the one of the most significant aspects of the Vista for the residents is the dining experience, and the really good food that they get to enjoy from the culinary experts who are there. And we have a lot of young people who work in the dining area, especially in the evening, with serving food and taking orders. And the way the residents are having an impact on those young people at such an incredibly formative time is just really special. And I have no doubt that from some of the young people we've got there, they're going to go out, they're going to go into college and have some amazing career and life stories. But they are going to remember back when they were 18, 19, 20, 17, and they were working in the Waterstone at the Vista, and the way in which these different residents just helped shape them in one way or the other and appreciated them. It's just really been an incredibly neat experience, and so blessed by the way the team there has responded, and the residents have built a sense of community. It's incredibly rewarding, and to see that all happen.
Well, I mean, I told you, and we had, you know, a mutual dear friend who, you know, it was part of the reason Gary, I think, was the third or fourth homage that I did, who's since passed on. But literally, I mean, I'll never forget the time that you had us up there for lunch, and I was like, yo, like, Garrett, you and me, we'll move in now. Like, the place, what it, and like what, however many years of planning, 25 years of planning, building, executing the whole thing, to see what it is, you know, like I never got a chance, maybe when I was young, to go all the way up the hill, you know, to go up there, like Cub Scouts or something, but to see that come to life and to be a part of that now, as we like get to, you know, in my work career, as I'm older now, but the amount of hours and time and the amount, you know, like to be able to have just what you talked about with the impact that now it's generational being passed down. One of the core reasons that I started this was I'm a big believer in mentorship and having, like, I had great people. Like I was at a place in life, like I said, when my dad passed away when I was 18, I came to a crossroads. It was this way or that. Like, I had a very real shot of going the wrong direction, and people pulled me in and said, I'm not going to give you the lesson, and you might not understand what I'm doing right now, but this is why I'm going to do it, and you're going to see the impact that you have, you know, that you're going to be able to give that. And one of the driving lessons that, you know, my friend Kenny, this guy Kenny Sullivan, it was always about giving back. It was always about paying it forward. Like when he had his career at Viacom, he had an amazing career. You know, he built like 1550 in Broadway, like that. Like what else? Like that, at the dawn of MTV in like the early 80s, like in the entertainment industry, that, like, oh my gosh, like you were there for the start of MTV.
Yeah.
And everything he did in his career was predicated around, we used to get together for dinner and I used to always ask him about like what's going on in the business. And he's like, well, we did this event at a high school in the city where we painted murals or cleaned up a courtyard. Like, it was all about service. And that, I think, is vital. And it's so cool to hear a story like that, where I kind of wish now I was 17 or 18. Maybe in my next career after I retire from DSM, I'll go serve at Waterstone. That'll be fantastic.
Well, you know, and talking about that example, it reminds me of, you know, service of during COVID. I remember you and many others were a part of helping the community connect us with, you know, supplies and resources that we needed. You know, back in those early days when masks and gloves and all those kind of things were hard to come by. You know, we had individuals, and I remember some of them were friends of yours who, you know, came by and dropped things off, and meeting them out in the parking lot, you know, dropping them and walking away, and you know, having kind of that safe exchange of things. You know, and the Girl Scouts who would come and leave chalk drawings on the sidewalk. So when the heroes on the team here walked in each day, you know, they had that kind of a connection going on. And those service opportunities are just so they're so important on both sides. They obviously incredibly impact what we're able to do here, but it also enables those out in the community to feel that they're having a role and they have an ability to make a difference. And you know, it's a cliche, but you know, so many things in life take a village, and we've seen that as well as many times. And the, you know, the volunteers that are here, and the groups in the community that become a part of it, and to see that and to be so grateful for it. You know, the first responders, it's just really amazing how this is a very special community. You know, I tell everybody that, you know, Vicki and I, our home is in Wayne. I tell everybody I sleep in Wayne, but I live in Wyckoff, because it's kind of, this is where the life has been, and it's because there's just so much energy. And now to see that with Windmere and North Halden, and Santa Village and Summerhill and Wayne and Newbridge Services, there's just a lot of other places now to live also. But see, those communities have the same kind of resources. They've got so much good in them. And you know, maybe at this time, especially in world history and all that's going on, you know, how great that you give us an opportunity to think about and celebrate the things that are good that are going around, because there's so many things that can drag us the other way. But boy, there's just a whole lot of good and great opportunities and things going on, and the way those people and events can shape our lives, and no matter what age we are, there's a lot of really positive things to lift up.
Oh, it's absolutely always something to learn. One final question, because I feel like there's some days, and the reason I'm asking you this is because some days people ask me and I always get put on the spot, is like, as the leader of an organization, you've been there since 1990. You've seen its evolution. You've seen it grow. What makes Doug Struyk the most proud?
It's seeing what people do when they don't think anybody is watching, and the way in which they reach out and they make a difference to somebody's life. You know, the unsung heroes. I have a uh, there are just so many situations, and I'll tell you one very briefly that I always think about. We had a resident who lived in our Evergreen Court housing here several years ago. She had been living with her son and daughter-in-law in North Halden, and wanted to be back on her own. So she came to live here in our affordable housing. She was here for many years. She developed a relationship with one of our maintenance men who worked down there in the building. They would share stories about baseball and about family members that had been in the service, and they had just a really neat connection. Well, unfortunately, she developed cancer, and so she needed to come up to the nursing home for the latter part of her life. And she was in one of her last weeks, and her son came to visit her, big strapping guy, and he came down the hallway and came to her room, walked in the room, and there was this maintenance guy, his name was Ray, kneeling on the floor next to her bed, holding her hand and having telling a story like they always used to do. And as he told the story to me, I mean, he broke up. He just said, you know, nobody told Ray that he had to do that. Nobody told Ray that he had to take the time at the end of his shift to come up and see my mom and just connect with her. But it's those kind of events that happen all the time, not because anybody told them to do, but because it's in their heart, and they see it. And I hope that I and my colleagues, we always take a moment to appreciate those and say thank you to those team members, because that's what makes the mission real. It's we can do a lot of work with exposing the community with written work and with media and whatnot, but it's when the rubber hits the road, it's what's the staff at the front line doing with those we serve. And just those kind of stories that happen time and time again just make me so proud. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what brings me here, and I know for so many others. And that's what I'm proud of. That this team is just so committed, and live the mission. It's just really humbling and inspiring. And when the end of my term comes, whenever that is, what I'll look back on, appreciate most, are just the way those heroes have just made a difference in unsung ways. And so often I get credit for what they do. And that's where it really all deserves. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to share that.
Yeah. A lot of the most remarkable trait of great leaders is never accepting credit and always always accepting responsibility when things go wrong. So to your point, you are the embodiment of that. And a lot of people say the same thing to me when, we had like our Jersey Awards ceremony on Wednesday night, and everybody's like, "Oh, these awards, it's awesome."
Yeah, congratulations. You had some for some of the first places you won, and I saw there were a few of including some of our materials. So we were very proud of you. Great.
Yeah.
You've got an awesome team. We are so blessed to work with all of them and the amazing work they do for us and so many others. So
thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we I think we have 3 or 4. I'll send them over. You could put them up on the shelves over there by your countless other awards. But it's one of those things that I think is remarkable. And as we kind of tie a bow on this episode, it's an embodiment of you, Doug. Like that's why we'll do it. When you leave your legacy, and in my opinion, again, I hope it's nowhere near its end. Like, you should continue working until you're like 90. because you just keep going. Don't stop. Like you bring energy, you bring passion. You're probably sitting there on the other side, like wanting to strike, like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, bro. Not going to do that. but no, to see what you've done, how you've done it, in the manner in which you do it, it's been a great help in the same way. Kenny, like when I look at people in my sphere of influence, and it's like, all right, take little things from Gary, take little things from Kenny, take little things from all these different people. You may not know it, but there's little things that I've taken from you and your leadership style and the way that you handle your business that are very important to me. And that's really why I wanted to have you on today to share your stories. I mean, the countless things that you've done. You're way humble. You're never going to speak in the way that all the things that you've done, like you make Vista sound like it was like a 6-month, like, yeah, we kind of did it and now it's up and yeah, like rock on. We're going to take care of it into the future. Like this was a life's work wrapped up into one building. And so I want you to understand the impact that you have on the people around you, the community, and frankly, the people that you work and stand by every day. Those people are taking the embodiment of you and your leadership, and that's why the organization is what it is.
Well, and Darren, as you kind of have shared that, this whole this really great homage program that you have here is your way of saying thank you, and for me, saying thank you has become a really important tool as well. And maybe something I will leave with other leaders, that I've gotten into the habit over the last about 15 years of, I write notes to my team when things happen. I probably send out about 1,000 of them every year to different members of the team. It's kind of my weekend ritual that I enjoy, and I learn so much. It's interesting. It's caused me to pass it down to my girls because they saw Dad writing notes every weekend. But I think it's somewhat of a lost art. We're all into our phones and texting and emails and whatnot, but just taking the time to write a little note. And when Ray stops at a bedside and talks to his friend in her last days, and just, thank you for living the mission. Thank you for doing that without even being asked. That ends up, these notes, they end up being on the refrigerator next to kids' report cards. It's amazing how impactful they are. And sometimes I get them back too, which is cool. But just saying thank you with all that's going on in the world, just saying thank you is just so incredibly important. So thank you for this opportunity today. And as you inspire others with your wanting to say thank you and giving me an opportunity to say thank you as well. Just really great being with you this morning.
Yeah, this was awesome. See, I told you this was going to be easy. It's light, it's fun.
Yeah.
With that, episode 44, Doug Struyk, this homage is yours. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for the leadership. Thank you for being a bedrock in the community. Like, you might not think it, but it's funny you say it. I live in Wayne, but I live, I live in Wayne and I live in Wyckoff. Like, you're as much a part of Wyckoff as countless others who have continued this, who have been a part of this community. So keep up the awesome work. Keep doing what you're doing. I got it on here right now. We're locked in. You're here for another 25 years. You're not going anywhere. You just got to keep working. Sorry. So, your retirement, Vicky, I apologize. You thought Doug was going to retire. He's not retired. He's not going anywhere. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Episode 44 is done.
Thank you. Blessings to your team, your family, and you as well, Darren. Thank you so much.
Keep rocking on, keep being a rock star on the leadership, Doug.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks.
Be well.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye.